Hold up, if WeiWei is pulling out the Nidalee and the Jace is still open, this could potentially be a scout Jace in the mid lane. That is a lot of pressure coming out from the side of LNG. I'm loving it. Oh no! I'm getting Liam flashbacks from the IG series. They're doing to them what IG did to them. However, seeing the Karma Hover right here, this is going to be probably Karma Sinsao. Very, very strong. Karma X, Karma Lee Sin, Karma Sinsao, Karma Viego. Extremely, extremely strong when it comes to the 2v2 scenarios.
That's really big for XiaoHao as well, giving a little bit more priority towards him and some carry potential for him. But we have seen Lien got the better of him on some more aggressive styles, and we'll see if WeiWei can adapt that style into this one. They are going to lock that Viego in. A lot of weight on the shoulders of XiaoHao. You can see he's kind of feeling it there a little bit. But pressure is on here for Weibo not to be brought the distance. The TF for Zika. Oh, maybe not actually for Scout, rather.
It's a TF for Scout. It could potentially be an AP TF. Okay, not the best pairings that you would expect with something like a Nidalee, especially since Karma mid lane can exceed a lot of pressure in terms of priority early on, so I do want to see how this will go on. However, you do have a lot of side lane pressure with TF, especially since you have Aatrox and you have Nidalee. Being able to join the side lanes on skirmishes like that, especially after level 6 with the TF, is going to be huge for Scout, and honestly, he has so many tools in his hands to be able to influence the side lane. This has been trying the entire series.
Very different style compositions coming out. No more facilitation for XiaoHao. He's got the sticks. He's the one that's going to have to find the leads. Whereas for LNG, they have put together a very scale-heavy composition, but a lot of strength, I feel like, if they can find the connection between WeiWei and Scout with that yellow card with spear combo. But that is a bar of execution that makes it a little bit more difficult to reach. And I think Weibo will take a lot of that with the synergy that you can have with the Karma and the Viego.
And I'm gonna be very honest with you, every time I see a Viego in a game, my very first question is, okay, you get the first reset, what is the kind of, what are the souls that you're getting? Are they worth it? Are they high value? I don't see a lot of high value, like Senna, Nidalee, Tom Kent. They're not really souls that necessarily going to be taken to follow up on a kill. I feel like his primary targets are going to be like Aatrox and TF, because getting this gold cup would be huge.
We're getting into game 4 now, pivotal one. LNG still on the brink of being knocked out. Weibo looking to surge forward and not be brought to a 5th game. So many faces know each other in this stadium and on this stage. And only one of these teams can come out victorious. See if LNG can get us to silver scrapes.
A lot of cheers from the crowd as well. I'm sure they want a 5th game here, Mazel. However, I don't think Weibo wants to rinse and repeat Monday series.
Or we go with the mindset of like they want more games again. You know?
Hey, official scrims. There you go. Official
it
practice.
All circles back.
I mean, especially if you're going up against JDG, you need as many official games as you possibly can. You need to like stretch the mile as much as you can at this point. Get every bit of those games in. And right now, I feel like this is literally the point where I feel like a lot of the teams sort of resort back to scaling. We had a very interesting conversation yesterday over in the LEC where a lot of the European teams, especially in a best of scenario, best of 3 or best of 5, if it's gone all the way to 4 or 5 games, you will usually see both teams sort of resort back to scaling. They say, hey, if we play a slow and calculated game and we know we're really good at team fighting and how we play, there's no way we can lose, right? And I feel like Weibo's team fights have been absolutely exceptional. Like in game number 1, in game number 2, the way they were coordinating, they were picking their targets, the way they were dancing pretty much back and forth in and out of these in these team fights where it was immaculate. Yeah. So I feel like for Weibo right here, it's kind of the same situation. They're like, look, we've got scaling all across the board with a very strong mid-jungle duo and a top laner that can bully lane with Ignite. Yeah. All we have to do is just wait to scale.
And these two teams are the ones that want to, right? We came into this one saying this was the tortoise race and who's going to be a little bit slower, who's going to have the slowest pace, because they love to get to the 25, 30-minute mark and have those big team fights. That's where they excel. We've seen Weibo adapt their style a little bit by having a little bit more tempo in the early game so far in this series, and it's led to some really big games. But now we are getting that point where, okay, Both teams, we realize we're strong later. Let's find us comps that will allow that, and a lot of bridge building to be done by some very aggressive junglers early on.
However, the execution status on the side of LNG is a little bit more difficult. You've got a Nidalee, which is not the easiest to team fight with. You're looking for skirmishes early on. You're trying to get that gold card into potentially a spear from Nidalee to try and 100% to zero somebody real quickly. You don't have the classic front-to-back jungler that you always want to have when you have a Senna in your team. However, you do have a Kent and an Aatrox that can frontline for you from the side of LNG. And Chris,
this is
he
what's
has
so
been
deadly.
spotted. He has been spotted. He's been pinged out, but XiaoHao is there on the other side as well.
Crisp has been so good on the roams on the Nautilus. There's a reason why it's been banned so often against him. He has early presence on the map, and he can find decent engages there. Now he does need to go back towards bot side, as WeiWei will be in his way. On the way there, actually, Chris not realizing that he's
he knows
here.
he's been spotted.
Not going to be able to do too much. He is a Nautilus. He'll run straight into it and flash immediately. Wow, Crisp with the reaction speed.
I feel like he knew what was happening. He sees that the Skull Crab has been taken. He sees that he's been spotted on a ward. And he also sees that Gala and Hang start hovering towards that tri-bush, literally the second that Chris was about to walk in. However, Chris was like, you know what? I'm not backing out. I'm not taking the long route. I'm going to walk through this tri-bush no matter if it costs my flash. It costs his flash. However, he does have the Hex Flash. And now XiaoHao,
they know he's
potential
here.
dive mid.
Yellow card available. He's under turret here, but the spear not going to be in time. Just a couple milliseconds off of each other from LNG.
Oh, I love that creativity right here from Weibo Gaming, trying to go for a dive. Crisp. The sliding gate, a little bit of back and forth in the bot lane, but I do like the activity over in the mid lane for Weibo Gaming. We said how Karma X, whatever bruiser, jungler, or fighter jungler you want to pair it up with, that's really, really great in terms of skirmishing, diving, pressuring mid-jungle duo of the opponents, and that's exactly what XiaoHao has been trying to do here.
Doing a lot of damage to that catfish. Double root will connect, though, from Gala. To see it. A little bit of pressure to get it back from Weibo on the bottom side of the map. Something else I want to check in is this top side, as the Grubbies will be watched by WeiWei. We did have the double Arcane Comet top side of the map, so trying to combat some of the poking available is Zika, but they will still, even though he's getting pressed so heavily, get the Grubbies.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm always scared when I see top lane ignite. Because if that goes south, if you end up dying, you just get punished over and over again. And the reason why you take Ignite in lane is so you can have that extra pressure. You take the Scorch, you take the Comet, you take the Ignite, and you actually have kill pressure very early on. If you end up going down, all of that kill pressure completely dissipates because you do not have teleport anymore. So your kill pressure is not there anymore, your map pressure is not there anymore, and you pretty much have to be following around, which means you lose a lot in terms of priority over in the side lanes and push over in the side lanes. And if we're looking at push and priority, you see that LNG have a Twisted Fate on Scout, which is most likely gonna be buggering off to a side lane later on in the game and just taking down the towers. And same for Zika onto the Aatrox. You've got a Karma and a Rumble. You definitely don't want to be having these two picks on the side lane.
We have level 6 achieved by solo laners, at least. Both of them going to be popped in top side of the map, but the more important one, I feel like, is Scout with the Destiny. ZDZ going to get hit by a couple Q sweet spots, dodge out of that nice spear, and see some proactivity from Scout with the Destiny. He can get out of lane where Xiaohu can't. I think that's going to be really important.
That is going to be important, absolutely. What's also very important is Weibo Gaming are going to have to try and find ways to lure LNG in to fight them. And so far, they've been doing a pretty good job. I feel like Weibo Gaming have been focusing heavily on finding these early game dragons, which frees a lot their decision making when it comes to that mid game. They've got the luxury to say, we're not going to contest this dragon, we're not going to fight it, we already have two. And that's the case here again, and it all comes down to Light and Crisp. They have had an absolute lane kingdom all 3 games back to back to back, which has allowed XiaoHao to sneak in and take those early game dragons, which then allows them all this space and time to make these decisions later on whether they want to contest or not.
It's been really big because we know Gala to be a mainstay of the carry potential of LNG. He has not had the biggest of series so far. He is on the Senna. He'll have a lot to say as time goes on. He was even trying to get on a roam there as well on the Xiaohu, his old team partner, knowing each other well from his RNG double carry days. But I think now, especially with Xiaohu having a lot of consistent pressure on this scout, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the TF to get out of this lane, be proactive, and to help WeiWei start building that bridge.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier on in the draft, right? We're like, Twisted Fate doesn't necessarily pair up together with Nidalee very well because you cannot necessarily build a lot of synergy in the mid jungle. Yes, maybe if you walk out of lane and you get a gold card, you can pair it up with a spear and just assassinate somebody straight up. But the Karma is just going to perma-pressure you in lane. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to get out of lane. Talking about getting out of lane, he's going to pop the Destiny right now. It's going straight back mid, guys. There's a wave under tower. He needs to farm that one up. The Karma pressure is just immense.
XiaoHao will answer WeiWei, get one of his Krugs up here after pressuring onto Zika. ZDZ having a hefty CS lead, and the Rumble finally being unlocked for this guy as it had been taken away from him in the bans. And there is a lot of highlight clips from just their last best of 5 that showed why this pick has been so monumental for Weibo. And they can play so safely because of that pressure now. Look at this, man. We've seen this deja vu time and time again, and Zika is forced out of his lane. He doesn't have TP, and it's just that difficult.
Oh, he pops the Hex Drinker as well. Ignite's still up. Equalizer still up for ZDZ. He can choose to equalizer the wave right here, even if he wants to, and just instantly back out. Huge advantages towards the top side of the map that have not yet been answered by WeiWei. We usually have Hang cross the line and go towards the top side of the map, trying to get Zika ahead. But at this point, Hang is the one farming down the bot lane. You cannot leave that bot lane with Tam Kench if you're the one farming. So it all falls down to WeiWei to try and find a way to break that top side of the map. We said how important it is if you take the flash off of ZDZ. If you do manage to kill him, all that kill pressure goes down massively from the top side of the map, and so far he has not been punished.
Weibo, they're moving all bodies up towards this top side of the map. They want to contest for these grubs. They cannot give over the might stacks to LNG, which paid dividends last game for them with the early game pressure it allowed Zika. He's looking for a flank. There is no ward here from Weibo. He will be able to find a big pincer maneuver. Now, XiaoHao is actually manning that side of the map, and Zika forced to move away from that flank that he had. He will move back topside to go deal with ZDZ, and we just have ships passing in the night here as maybe things starting to light up a little bit heavier.
Yeah, I love Weibo's pressure right here. They did not overextend. They allowed ZDZ to pressure the wave, which forces Zika to reply. Now he's ditched the wave under tower. I'm looking for ZDZ.
Scout has yellow card. He steps up a little far. Equalizer going to separate where LNG can walk through. Oh, nice root donning shadow on top. He's trying to get out, but he can't do it. First blood goes to LNG. Second blood goes to LNG. And guess who's picking it up? It's that vicious cougar in the jungle, WeiWei. He's looking for Crisp as well on the other side with a spear. He's going to connect it. And that's a triple kill for the world's finalist jungler.
And he's come back. No more Rel. Only fighting junglers that will play in your face. He brings out the brand in game 3, it works. He brings out the Nidalee in game 4, it works. LNG are finally clicking. They grouped up towards the top side of the map. They had a very clear target, which was ZDZ and XiaoHao, and they take them down. And as we see in this replay again, ZDZ is literally the first target that they have in mind, because Equalizer is a huge tool when it comes to these neutral objective fights and being stuck into choke points. I feel like this Equalizer was not necessarily the best. It breaks apart the fight, but that's about it. And XiaoHao takes the root onto his AD carry, which was disastrous for Light onto the Zeri. And then they follow up with a third kill onto Chris, but XiaoHao getting hit by the Senna root and carrying it over to Light. A big whoopsie right there from the side of Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, steps up a little bit too far, punished heavily. And now a Lich Bane already completed there with a static shiv in mid lane for Scout. There's a lot of presence and pressure on the map. Yes, Dragon did go over to Weibo, so they'll keep stacking that one up. And they still have a lot of strength in the team fight, right? The Malignant's picked up for Xiaohu. He will be a menace now, being able to mantra Q anytime he wants. But it's also about trying to stave off some of the early presence that now Scout and WeiWei will have together. That bar of execution just got a little bit lower and a little bit easier to achieve.
Absolutely, because we're still only 12 minutes into the game. A lead Spain hurts so much. Even the base AP from the item when it comes to the spears landing from WeiWei is really going to hurt those HP bars. It's only later on that the needle is not having a very great time. Zidis is not having a great time either.
He's definitely not. He's gonna wish that he had some wildlife repellent of some sort, because WeiWei comes up, gives him a visit, gives Zika a kill, and that's huge. Also, on top of all that, while Weibo was getting that dragon earlier, all 6 grubs got achieved from LNG, and it's officially Grubgeddon.
Yeah, I feel like LNG have had a tendency on going for those void grabs in general in their entire game, and I mean, like right here, it makes so much sense. You've got the Ajax, you've got the Nidalee, you've got the TF. They're going to be hitting towers, and they're going to be hitting them so much harder now with the buff. XiaoHao is going to walk up, but he's going to find out really soon that he cannot be walking up all on his lonesome, and he's going to wait for his jungle mid duo. Sorry, his support mid duo to join him, but so far so good from LNG, and Weibo are just not finding the answers that they so wish. I feel like they have completely turned around their playstyle. We talked about how good they are on their 1-3-1s, and currently they have completely ditched that style. They talk about 1-3-1s, they don't even have a teleport on their top laner. The kill pressure has been completely taken out of the rift by killing the Rumble. Even level right now with Zika. Zika gets that Hex Drink and he's gonna have his items, so a lot of that kill pressure falls off. And LNG are bringing the hit. I'm loving, Mazel, the 180 change on WeiWei from being completely invisible to being completely invincible.
It's been really, really nice to see a wake up from a superstar jungler in his own right. But also, I just have to talk about it. It's the second series in a row we've had really questionable drafts from Weibo in games 3 and game 4. And now Weibo may be feeling a little bit of that here, as they are trying to stave off some of the darkness that they were brought into yesterday by IG. They were able to stave that off. They finished off game 5 triumphantly. And here they are in their triumph, trying to take down a Rift Herald right in front of the rest of LNG. They brought light up.
It's resetting. Okay, this Rift Herald has reset 2 times. I feel like LNG, if you look, bot Hang was resetting at this point, so maybe you could think of like a TP in. But right here, LNG are so far ahead that they're fine to give this one away, especially since they do not have the setup. They don't have their Tam Kent right there to walk in first. He's very beefy, and they're earning other advantages over on the map. As you can see, Scout is also hovering both sides of the map. ZDZ walks up again. That is a non-teleport Rumble. You kill him. It takes him so long to get back in lane to grab any sort of CS and experience from those creeps. So LNG so far have managed to pretty much not only shut him down, but also get fed in the process. 3-0 onto WeiWei, onto this Nidalee. Now, we need to see him put that Nidalee onto some work, because the later the game goes, the bigger the shields get from Karma, so your poke is not going to be as effective.
Got to keep the momentum up there. Again, they've got their hammers out, they've got some material to build a bridge, and they are doing so right now. But it has to be a bridge that's built to a carry like Gala, and he has to be the late game scaling factor for LNG if they want to have a hope. But we are looking like we're going to get to those moments, right? We're passing that 15-minute mark. We're going to be getting to a point where Weibo can feel a little bit more confident on the map. Crisp is already consistently roaming, and we're going to have a lot more presence out of mid lane. About 40 seconds till a dragon spawns. ZDZ has completed his Leandries, and we'll see the first item spikes aplenty for the next fight.
He uses Scout pressure in mid bot lane as well. He's very close to that dragon if the fight breaks out. Absolutely eating through those towers. Has the support and the vision control from his team as well. Something that LNG has been heavily criticized for, not having a lot of vision when they split pushing. Right now the whole bottom side is lit up. Rift Herald gonna be popped for some pressure from the side of Weibo Gaming, but look at Zika's positioning on the top side.
Getting the charge in. Zika casting a wall, threatening a little bit of a flank there. They did end up getting their first turret for Weibo. So a little bit of that standing gold given over. But the dragon is spawned. WeiWei is in primary position. We'll end up knowing that they're there, though. Weibo trying to collapse over. Oh, Light, you're in a lot of trouble. Destiny on the other side of the wall. The flash coming out now as well. And Crisp just goes instantly on the Scout, but the Dawning Shadow across onto 2, and Crisp is already gone. Zika trying to go for a side engage. ZDZ on the other side does have equalizer available and his flash. Weibo still have tools to fight, but they've lost their primary engage in Crisp.
Absolutely, and right now you need your equalizer to stick. Without that Nautilus, how do you make the equalizer stick? How do you make a huge impact with it? I feel like right here, Weibo Gaming just need to give up this dragon and try to play for a little bit more pressure on the map, pushing that mid lane wave, pushing that top lane wave, and try to get some of that standing goal that you've been mentioning on the map into your pockets. They need more power into these champions later on. When you're diving into the backline as a Viego, you need to be strong enough to take someone down. And so far, XiaoHao has just not had the easiest early game to be able to translate that Viego karma pick.
He is not, but he's trying to get a little bit back for his team now. I've been taking the Chicky Nuggies and was actually focusing on the Krugs, but Hung, TPing and topside, realized he immediately needs to run away from said topside as there's 4 members of Weibo up there, and Weibo take a second turret of the game for themselves.
I'd like to see Weibo Gaming just move a little bit into the jungle, trying to get some control of some sort, because so far a lot of their TPs and a lot of the movements on the map have been very reactive. As you can see here, Light is trying to dodge that, but he has to flash the tongue lash from Tam Kench, and Crisp got a little bit too far forward, cannot escape. The entirety of LNG is there to jump on them, and again, I feel like Weibo Gaming are at their best when ZDZ is at his best, and having him right now stuck onto an Ignite Rumble that cannot necessarily impact the map as much as he wants has sort of handcuffed Weibo Gaming in terms of how they like to play the split map and how they like to have that side lane pressure.
LNG might have found the ticket to their reverse sweep. Some forcing of compositions to make Weibo play late game and come into their comfort zone. Again, these have been teams that have been very slow. I know LCK wrapped up just a little bit ago. You know, if you're missing a little bit of that, both these teams definitely leaning towards that play style so far. But with a scaling composition like LNG have and the lead they already have, it's getting pretty monumental, about 4,000 gold up for them. And with a couple more objectives coming on the map, some item completions. Now also Banshee's Veil for WeiWei. Going to be able to play a lot more confidently.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that maybe Nidalee is the kryptonite for Weibo Gaming.
Yeah.
Maybe they just see Nidalee and they throw their hands up. You know, caught, go next draft. 3-0 for WeiWei.
Have you ever run
It's
it?
been-
You know how you deal with a cougar in the wild?
Okay, go
Have
on.
you ever learned about it? No. So
You know what? I've never met a cougar in the wild, and I don't really want to. But please let me know how to deal with it.
You don't turn your back and run. You have to face them and walk away slowly. We'll see if Weibo have learned their lesson here. They're going to face them right up, but Xiaohu, he's starting to turn his back and run, and maybe that's going to initiate WeiWei to go in. There's a couple spears going wide there, not going to find it. Weibo pushed off of the advantage from LNG.
Yeah, level 12 Nidalee right now. The spears hit so freaking hard. You got the lead Spain for that extra damage as well onto the auto attack and the Banshees to keep you safe from any type of engage, whether it comes from Crisp or anyone else. And right now, Weibo Gaming, they just do not have that front line that they wanted to break that fog of war. LNG are just walking wherever they please. And again, unfortunately for Weibo Gaming, ZDZ twice in a row, he's not having the game he wishes he could have. And Weibo Gaming, it feels like without that pressure in the top lane, they're just literally crumbling on the map. 5,000 gold difference, 21 minutes in from the side of LNG, and if they so wish, they can turn over to the Baron real quickly.
Yeah.
As they have taken over that side and just force a fight through that.
XiaoHao's having a lot of trouble on the Viego just because you're not getting a lot of the resources given to him. And that's what we kind of set up in the draft is he needed to find resources early to try to get light into the game later on. But so far, no good on that direction. WeiWei has had his number so far. And I think with a little bit of the lull in the state, we do have a second item completion for Xiaohu. So we'll have a lot more poke. And that's actually going to be really important. The karma sneaks up on you a little bit with the amount of damage you can do with the mantra Qs.
It does. However, you have a Tam Kent that's going to be playing right front line together with Zika, who has pre-built a lot of that MR since he's laning against the Rumble. So I think both of them would be more than happy tanking a lot of the mantra Qs coming out of Xiaohu. Now, if Xiaohu manages to find any meaningful ones towards the backline, they're definitely going to hurt. That is 3 very, very squishy members from the side of LNG. And Weibo Gaming are trying to establish a little bit of vision control. You see that Weibo want to go wherever LNG is not. You definitely do not want to be walking into any spears. You do not want to be walking into any routes from Senna. So they're trying to establish control wherever LNG just doesn't exist for that moment.
Zika actually took a side lane tier 2. He's onto an
Hold on a
inhibitor right now, and Weibo are going to trade that for a Baron. This is a big moment, and Zika has a TP.
Ooh, this is a pretty great Baron pit for ZDZ onto the Rumble, but he's been chunked down so hard.
Scout has the engage on the other side. Gotta watch out for the yellow card. Big Donnie Chad on 3 members. Equalizer comes way too little, way too late. LNG are moving forward. Yellow card could be coming up for Scout. They get Chris first. Now flashing forward. XiaoHao's getting in trouble. He's not going to find any kind of reset. And it's about to be a full ace here. Can they find Xiaohu? The last remaining member of Tongue Lash comes through. They might set this one up here for WeiWei, but it's going to be Zika. And a full ace onto Weibo. And a full lead for LNG.
Weibo Gaming, do you believe in deja vu? Because I'm so sure you've seen this before. You've seen the 2-0, you've seen the 3-0 crumble before your eyes. LNG are bringing out their arch nemesis, Nidalee, bringing it back, and they're pushing us almost to a game number 5, 10,000 gold lead. LNG should be able to close this one out cleanly, and as you can see, that was the perfect Baron pit for ZDZ. You walk through this choke point, you lay down the carpet of death, perfect, but LNG just do not give him that. And once Crispy's down, once all of your engage is gone, what a lovely gold card right there from Scout to stop XiaoHao dead in his tracks. LNG are locked, they're loaded, they're back, and they want that game 5.
God, Scout is just so good. Oh my goodness, the TF pick coming in against Xiaohu in a pivotal game 4. This guy has had insane carry performances, and now he's spreading the love to the rest of the team. This matchup, we said, was going to be extremely pivotal. The mid lane having a lot to say in a game number 4, and now Scout almost on 4 items.
And now it's going to be so difficult to try and contain LNG.
Can't
on
contain
the
the chillin'.
Can't contain it. Weibo Gaming, they do have a bunch of wave clear. I'll give them that. Zeri is pretty good, Karma's pretty good. You can throw down the equalizer. However, if you have to throw down the equalizer to push out a wave, that will give LNG a way to push through another lane. They caught Hang, but he's very tanky.
He is tanky. He's gonna have to burn his flash. End up getting a nice healing factor there from WeiWei. As Xiaohu. Crisp down in trouble. Everybody's losing their health bars, and Zika comes in over the top for the kill. Destiny has been popped into backline access. Scout will get there. Nice yellow card sets up Zika for a second kill. Q sweet spot's not going to connect, but XiaoHao's going to heartbreaker his way out of that one. Scout has another yellow card ready to go, and honestly, those cards must have the Grim Reaper on them because he has been on point.
1-0-8, absolutely shredding through that game. Scout with a phenomenal performance this entire series, no different onto this Twisted Fate. No matter what champion he touches, this guy is absolutely mind-blowing in terms of performance. And now the rest of LNG, thankfully, have woken up to back him up. They have found a way, and that is through a more proactive jungle, a more proactive mid lane, and so far in 2 games back-to-back, it has worked for LNG and Weibo Gaming back on the drawing board. You're on the losing side. You have picked blue twice, and it's not gone great. You thrive on counter picks. You thrive on having priority lanes. I'm expecting Weibo to already be thinking about game number 5 here.
Side lane has to be the ticket. LNG didn't have any answers for those first couple games when they were playing so well through those side lanes. But they absolutely have answers if you just try to take a straight team fight composition into them. This is their strength. They're pulling the whole Bane meme. They were born in it. Weibo are merely visiting.
Oh, and I love the fact that Scout right here went for the Zeri. There were 3 members of Weibo Gaming in front of him. He could have gold carded whichever one he wanted. However, he did go for the furthest one. Thank you, Rapid Fire Cannon. It was the Zeri. Light goes down. And lights out for Weibo Gaming very, very soon as a 14,000 gold lead. LNG is literally knocking on their front door whilst they're waiting in a brush on the neighbor's garden.
They're trying to find Zika, but he played him very safely over there. They don't end up finding him. They'll lose an inhib in mid lane, so top and mid cracked. And Weibo struggling to keep up their defenses here. And Zika will start the work on the final remaining lane.
Pushing down that bot lane, as you can see. Top lane wave is gonna push in eventually. There is a super minion walking down with an entire wave. Mid lane just pushing in right now. They've got 3 lanes pressuring Weibo Gaming. A very, very easy way to open up a base from the side of LNG. Very, very well calculated right here. And this is crashing down their waves. You'll see that right now. Mid lane's gonna crash in a second. Top lane is already shoving, and Bolton is already underneath the tower. LNG is just a matter of seconds.
They got a full flank going right here. Dawning Shadow delays what LNG can do, and now they find more. No, XiaoHao's gonna flash out. Light is looking to fight back. He's gonna be turned into just a lightning rod for LNG's success. More kills to WeiWei. LNG kill everyone but Xiaohu, and they're on to the Nexus turrets for 3 days in a row. The LPL has delivered. Are you not entertained? A game number 5 on the horizon.
LNG, somebody must have shook them backstage to wake them the heck up. There's no way they would go down. 0-3 to Weibo Gaming, not with the caliber of players that they have in the team. WeiWei